Tell me the fight story or the Fight Club story.
All right, so I mean, it was just, this was Crazy Josh era, watching tons of movies. We watched Fight Club, and we were like, dude, we should fight. Let's fight. We've never fought each other. And so we fought each other, and we went like hammer and tongs.
Right, hold on. So you watch the movie, a day goes by, and then you're just sitting around not doing shit. And you're like, you know what?
There was something to the philosophy that attracted us, where it's like, you know, you don't
really know somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you can hit another level with somebody once you've fought them.
Yeah.
Right? It seems so dumb. It's totally true, though.
Yeah?
Yeah. So we fought each other, and then we were pretty banged up after that.
So tell me, where was it? In your apartment?
Yeah. And we'd fought each other, and it was like, dude, that was like pretty dope. We don't want to... That was just us fighting. So we decided to get like MMA gloves, because our hands were jacked after that. And
so you guys were really like punching each other, like
and we were going like full tilt.
You're a big ass dude. How big was fucking Crazy Josh?
So he's not as big as me, but he's built like a prehistoric creature. So he's very he looks like Juggernaut. So it's like, he's not buff, but he's just so thick, and his Cro-Magnon like overhanging skull, and it's just. He was a menace. So we bought MMA gloves, and we bought mouth guards. Yeah. And then we would do that every now and then somebody was over, and Josh and I didn't even think about, like, we have a guest, we probably shouldn't fight. We were like, well, this is the time when we fight, so you know, you might want to scoot aside. We moved everything out of the way, and then this guy was like, dude, that was rad. Can I do one? And so we were like, yeah. So he was a friend of ours, so we did that, and it grew. Like, he invited some people over, and then, you know, somebody would, you know, like express interest in something when they heard the story at work or whatever. So it was literally like Fight Club, and it turned into a whole thing. It turned into. Our apartment was full, and we were like blaring music, like full. I mean, like 30 people, and it would always be Josh and I fought, and then our little thing, since we were like the Tyler Durden Jack split, right? Our little thing was we would always fight, and then I would pick somebody, he would pick somebody randomly, and then they would have to fight. You didn't know, and then they would pick people, and we just shared the gloves. And what happened eventually is we just would buy unboiled mouth guards, which hurt like a motherfucker, but we didn't want people's teeth getting like messed up. So
you were responsible.
I mean, we had ours, but we just had a big like popcorn bowl full of mouth guards, and if it was your turn, you just had to like crank one in and go for it. But it grew out of the apartment. I mean, I remember at one point this wrestler picks up Josh and he runs, and they went through the wall of the living room into his coffin bedroom, and like 30 people are like, ah! They like all charge to see what's happening in the other room, and they're just like hammering the shit out of each other on top of his coffin.
Where did Crazy Josh fuck?
Dude, in the coffin. Like an idiot.
I want to tell you who's crazy. Okay, it wasn't fucking Josh. It was his fucking roommate. Fucking living.
I loved it, man. I loved it. It grew out from there to too many people, to the parking lot of the gas station where he worked graveyard. So I worked like dinners at Olive Garden, and then I would go hang out with him at the gas station down the street.
Yeah.
And eventually it was big. This was a big thing. There was like gangbangers and like San Diego military, Navy Marines guys had heard about this, and it turned into a whole thing. And the cops would come. Initially, they were like, what the fuck's going on? And then they would see, because the other rule we had is you had to hug at the end of the fight. Yeah. Which is sort of silly. But
no, that's good.
The cops would see, like this, like,
camaraderie
hardcore gang members.
Sportsmanship.
Yeah. Like doing this thing in a controlled environment. And eventually they were, they
fighting
would pull up.
Oh.
No. The cops would pull up and just watch. So the guys who were rolling around in the police cruisers would roll up, and you know, they'd turn the headlights on, and they'd be hanging out and just kicking it with us. It was awesome. And that stopped when Josh's boss eventually saw a security tape of what looked like Braveheart going on. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? So we moved it back to the apartment. And at that point, that's near the end of the story. That's where real fighters had started to get wind of it. Like, you can hold your own. Like especially if you can unplug, if you can go a little nuts, you can really hold your own with just about anybody, unless they're a trained fighter. Yeah. And then it's you're not.
So you had ringers coming in.
Yeah. And that's the end of the story. Is I was fighting I had been picked to fight again.
BJ Penn.
It was a Thai kickboxer. He looked just like Sagat. Dude, this dude, I remember the way I tell the story from my perspective is he's doing his like Street Fighter idle animation. And I'm like, are you ready? And somebody pushes play on the techno. It's like, I'm like, okay, here we go. And I remember he was looking at me and we had eye contact. And I was just thinking like, all right, it's the guy. Your move. And then it was like, and then time froze. And we never stopped looking at each other, but his heel is here. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, as I had like time froze and I had this moment when I'm like, how's he bent like that? It's not humanly possible.
It was like an anime
and he had done
scene.
Just some type of fucking whip around kick. And I had just that moment to be like, holy shit. And then it just goes... And all I remember is seeing the heel, and then I was beautiful, like rainbows and shimmering shit, and like I couldn't hear anything. It was just like you died in Far Cry 5, right? Like and people sing. And then when I came to, people were like shaking me, and Josh was above me, and he had me like by my collar, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, yeah!" It was so hype, and I'm fucking. Like, my face is caved in. He kicked me so hard when I would laugh, bubbles would come out my tear ducts. Uh-huh. Yeah, or if I exhaled, like, bubbles, air would come out my tear ducts because my sinuses and everything got fucking smashed. Yeah.
Do you still see any remnants of it?
No. But I hung it up after that. I was like, dude, and scene on this, like, 4-month adventure.